Good morning, guys. Let's start our session. Hope I'm audible to you. Yeah, right. So, in our last session, we have discussed about the Scrum process, right? So, this traditional water process methodology we have discussed, and what are the problems we have in it. So, these things we have discussed on last session. That means in this one, the flexibility is not there. The success rate of the project is only 32%. There is no automation here. But in this methodology, the client is not having the flexibility to give the new requirements in it. And we have seen what are the problems we have in that one, right? So to bring that automation in it and to get that flexibility to the client, they have started working on this one in this methodology, and they have come up with a new methodology, new project methodology, which is nothing but your agile methodology. So in agile methodology, we are not developing the complete software at once. I was told you, we are delivering the software incrementally, but not delivering the software at once. We are not delivering the software at once. So that is here we are using this one. So here, Agile Scrum, we are delivering the software incrementally, but not that is complete software. We are not developing at once. We are delivering at regular intervals of time. So here in this one in Agile methodology, we have the frameworks like your Scrum, Kanban, Lean programming, pair programming, SAFe. These are the frameworks. And majorly, we are using the Scrum and Kanban for the IT projects, and the Lean and pair programming we are using for the gaming kind of an application development here. So in this one, we have the three roles only: the product owner, Scrum Master, Scrum team. The product owner is your client employee, Scrum Master. Scrum Master is a person who's going to be, is the development employee only, development organization employee, and he is the one who's going to be train the team members about how to be enacting the Scrum, what is meant by Scrum, how this Scrum to be enacting in your project, and how with the implementation of the Scrum, how this will be get developed. That means how, what kind of an advantages we are getting with this one. Okay, so in this one, in this methodology, okay, the roles we are having: the product owner, the Scrum Master, and the Scrum team people. These people are the roles. We three roles are there. Scrum team are nothing but your, we are also calling them as your development team. Development team, we are also calling them as development team. Scrum team, development team, anything you can call it. And in this one, the terminologies will be different here. The user stories, we used to be calling it as the requirements or task, we used to be calling. User stories, we used to be calling here as requirements and task. The next one, Agile Scrum, we in sprints we are going to be developing. That means a process which consisting of the short time boxed iterations known as sprints. Correct? Yes. Sprints means it's a time boxed frame where we can able to be developing your application. That is why I was told you. So the sprint size will be minimum 2 to 4 weeks of sprint. Every month we are receiving, we are getting the new services are reflecting in your applications, whether it is a mobile applications or the web applications. Within 2 to 4 weeks of or a calendar month, we are getting this one here, guys, right? So the Scrum team members, like here in this one, we are having the developers, UI designers, and the DBA people here, guys. So these people will be your Scrum team members. So Scrum team size will be minimum 7, maximum 9 members. So in this agile methodology, we are not developing the complete application at once. We are developing the application at regular intervals of time. And in Agile Scrum, what we are going to be achieving, we design your application, we develop and build application and test your application. So these things we are achieving it. Fine. Now come back to this one. In Agile methodology refers to a group of methodologies typically applied to the software development based on iterative development, where requirements and solutions evolve through collaboration between self-organizing and cross-functional teams. What I said. So in this agile methodology, we are implementing these Scrum principles and we are developing your application using iterative development. That means not developing the complete software project at once. We are developing the services, small services at regular intervals of time. Suppose now, if you're in your project, we are having the, suppose you're working on your, in this software development project, suppose now here we are having the user stories. That means requirements. Suppose now here we are having some around 100 user stories. Okay, we are having the 100 user stories in this one. So out of these 100 stories here, now see guys here, in this case, they are going to be taken. These are your project requirements here, guys. Okay, requirements or task is to be called. So this out of 100 user stories, so every month we might be delivering. So we are fixing this one, like how many user stories you can able to be get delivered. Suppose now, if you are fixing this one, suppose now 5 user stories you are developing for the first week, for the first sprint. Likewise, every week, every month, we are going to be delivering this user stories here, guys. Every month, you are going to be delivering like user stories. So these are your, that means how many user stories you are delivering at regular intervals of time here, they are going to be delivering such kind of a services every month. So it depends on your requirements like this one here. We are taking some sprints might be 4 user stories. Some, if it is a complex requirements are there, we might be developing only 3 user stories in a month. So after completion of that one, we are going to be delivering. Suppose now here the sprints will be like this one here, guys. This Agile Scrum framework will be looks like this one. These are your product catalog. Once we develop and we are going to be do the sprint backlog, the team will be developing this one, taking up these 3 user stories, and they'll be task will be breaking out and they are going to be placed it in the sprint backlog and they're developing. So these are all your sprint review, sprint retrospective meeting. These are all your sprint the Scrum ceremonies we used to be calling. We'll see that one in depth. What is happening in each and every Scrum ceremonies? What are all the things are happening? We will see that. So inputs from your executives, teams, stakeholders, customers, users you'll be getting, and these things we are going to be placed it in the product backlog. So in this one, in this case here, we can consider this one as your product backlog here, guys. Product backlog. product backlog items we used to be calling. So every month you are going to be taking up these user stories. How many user stories you can able to be delivered? The team will be start working on it, and they'll be delivered that. The next one, agile methodology or agile process generate the promote a sustainable discipline and project management process, which encourages the frequent inspection and adaptation. So in this one, frequent adopt inspection and adaptation. That means before we are writing that code, we first make that one, test it. If the test case has been failed, then we are going to be adopting that feature. Then we are going to be start writing that code. That means with this approach, with this frequent inspection and adaptation approach, we can able to be write the quality software. That means the developers can able to be write the quality software in a less time. So this is an advantage what we'll be getting with this one here, guys, in agile methods, agile scrum process. Now if you can see in this one, in the scrum process workflow, if you can observe, we used to be calling, I'll be taking the scrum ceremonies. Yeah, the scrum ceremonies. Okay, in the scrum ceremonies, we used to be calling this one as your product backlog items. We have the scrum ceremonies. 4 scrum ceremonies are the sprint planning meeting, daily scrum meeting, sprint review meeting, sprint retrospective meeting. These are your 4 scrum ceremonies. In interview, they are going to be asking you here, guys. What is mean by sprint planning meeting? What is mean by daily scrum, sprint review, and the sprint retrospective meeting will be. So in this meetings here, in this one here, in the scrum process, product owner, PBIs, product backlog items, right? So here we have the user story 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 we are having. So these user stories we are going to be using. These user stories we are going to be using for this one. Here, this in the product backlog items we are going to be developing. That means you in the sense the scrum team members will be deciding that how many user stories you can able to be delivered. Suppose now I'm the product owner. I'm from the HDFC Bank. So product owner is your client employee. So he is the person who is going to be prioritizing this one. Which user stories need to be get developed in the next month sprint? He will be prioritize that. Suppose now the month sprint, the sprint we have started, sprint 5.1 from May 1st week to May 1st to May 31st. That means 1 month of sprint or 4 weeks of sprint. So these are your requirements here, guys. Now the scrum team will be deciding that. Here, the scrum team will be deciding here how many user stories you can able to be delivered. That means you will be deciding that. So in this 4 weeks of sprint, how many user stories you can able to be work on it. You are the one who is going to be deciding this one. Suppose user story 1, 2, 3, 4 stories you people have been committed. You people have decided that these 5 user stories you can able to be delivered. So you start working on that. But before you are getting start working on these user stories, you need to be understand that. You need to be understand that what are these user stories, what is the requirement, and how we are going to be working on these requirement. Requirement ఏంటి, రిక్వైర్మెంట్ కి సంబంధించిన బిజినెస్ వాల్యూస్ ఏంటి, ఇవన్నీ కూడా డీటెయిల్డ్ గా అర్థం చేసుకున్న తర్వాత దెన్ యు ఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు బి స్టార్ట్ వర్కింగ్ ఆన్ దట్ యూజర్ స్టోరీస్. Am I right or not, guys? You are going to be start working on those user stories. So here, if you can check it out, these user stories, they are splitting that one. If it is a big user story, then we are going to be splitting that user story into the sub user story so that you can understand in detail. If it is a complex task is there, you're splitting that one into the subtask so that you can understand the requirements in detail. So what happened? You're splitting that user story one into sub user stories. user story 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, like this. So after you did this one, then you start working on this one. That means the first 4 hours, first Scrum ceremony is sprint planning meeting here, guys. In the sprint planning meeting, it is 8 hours meeting. Who are involving in this meeting? The product owner, Scrum team members, Scrum master. Scrum master is an optional one. Now, if you can see in this 8 hours meeting, the first 4 hours, you people are going to do the requirement analysis. That means what is this user story and what is this requirement and how we need to be developed and what is its business value. So these are all the things. So in this one, the product owner is going to be explain these user stories, what is its value, how that feature should be working, should work, and these are all the business requirements he's going to be giving it to the team members here because he's explaining to the team members. So in this one, the first 4 hours, they do the requirement analysis on this five. Suppose in the out of 5 user story, they're splitting like this one, and they do this first 4 hours requirement analysis. The next 4 hours will be estimation. That means how many hours it will be taking to completing that user story one. Suppose user story 1.1. To completing this user story 1.1, we might be required 9 hours. Because in that estimation, they'll be following the different techniques. They'll be following some poker game techniques, some banyan size, some animal size, some fruit size. Like this one, they will be follow some different methods, different techniques in organization. But most of the cases here in the estimation technique, they'll be using poker game technique. So in this poker game technique, they'll be follow and they will be estimating this one. So how this user story 1.1, how many hours it will be taking. It includes your designing the task, writing that code, build that code, and build that task, writing the code for the task, build that task, and test that task. To do all these things, how many hours it will be taking. So like that one, they will be estimating all these things like that in this next 4 hours. Now, if we can observe here, in the sprint planning meeting, team selects the item from the product backlog and they can commit to be complete, right? So the team is going to be selecting how many user stories they can able to be complete that one in that particular user story. But they can able to be complete in that particular sprint. And sprint backlog, which is created here, each will be identified and each is getting estimated between 1 to 16 hours. Clear as 1 to 16 hours. అంటే ఏదైనా ఒక టాస్క్ ని మీరు 1 hour నుండి 16 hours లోపు టాస్క్ ని ఐడెంటిఫై అంటే ఎస్టిమేట్ చేయాలి. దట్ ఈస్ వై ఇఫ్ యూ కెన్ సీ ఇట్ షుడ్ బి బిట్వీన్ 1 to 16 hours. It will 9 hours, it is 5 hours, like that. Next one 10 hours, 11 hours, like that one you can able to be. That means 1 to 16 hours in between you need to be estimate that one. So here user stories are broken down into the task in this. So user stories are broken down into the sub user stories and they can work on it. So once the sprint planning meeting is get completed, now if you can check it out here, in this sprint planning meeting, team selects the starting at top as much as it is can commit to deliver the end of the sprint. So sprint planning meeting, they will be taking how many user stories they can able. After that, they will be in the sprint backlog, they will be task will be breakout. In this task will be breakout in the sprint backlog. Okay, now if you can check it out here, guys. Okay, in the sprint backlog. After that, the development will be get started. Now see guys here. In this one, the task is completed and the sprint end date and the team deliverable do not change in this one. Correct. So 2 to 4 weeks of sprint. Now the development is started. Every 24 hours, we'll be having the Scrum meeting. And here, every 24 hours, we are having Scrum meeting. Every day, we are going to be working on this burn down charts, burn up charts we are having. So in this case, here what happens, in the sprint planning meeting, after this completed, here the product backlog refinement, which user story has to be developed first, which user story has to be developed later. These things they are going to be working on it. Okay, here if you can see, Next meeting here, the designer designs that web page, developers start writing that code for that page, and after that they deploy that one into the testing team. Testing team people test that application. If they got test, if the test cases have been failed, the test cases have been failed, then they are going to be uh, generating that one into the bug report. That bug report again sending it to the development team people. Developers, again, they are going to be making the changes in the code, resolving those bugs. The same, this is a repeated one here, guys. రోజంతా కూడా వాళ్ళు డిజైన్ చేస్తారు, డెవలప్ చేస్తారు, టెస్ట్ చేస్తారు. అయిన తర్వాత బగ్స్ టెస్ట్ చేసినప్పుడు అక్కడ బగ్స్ వచ్చినప్పుడు మళ్ళీ ఆ బగ్స్ ని జీరా డాష్ బోర్డ్ లో అప్లోడ్ చేసిన వెంటనే again what happened, that will be intimated to the developer, and the developer is going to be start working on it. Developer is going to be start working on it, resolving that issue, updating that code. Again, the same thing, deploying after completion of that task, then it is deployed into the testing server. Again, testing team will, they are going to be test that application. So this iteration is repeated throughout the day. That means many times you are developing and testing. సో మాక్సిమం నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ బగ్స్ విల్ బి రిజాల్వింగ్. ఎందుకంటే మన రోజంతా కూడా డిజైన్ చేస్తున్నాము, డెవలప్ చేస్తున్నాము, టెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నాము. అంటే మాక్సిమం నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ బగ్స్ అనేవి ఇక్కడ రిజాల్వ్ అయిపోతాయి. బిఫోర్ వీఆర్ డిప్లాయింగ్ ఇన్ టు ద ప్రొడక్షన్ సర్వర్, maximum number of bugs will be get it resolved. Clear, guys? See, in the real time, we are having the environments like in the real time, we are having working environments, these things, guys. So those, I mean, please write these environments, guys. ఇవన్నీ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్స్ ఒకసారి నోట్స్ లో రాయండి. I want you to be write it down. Write down, guys. I'm giving a couple of minutes time. Right. Now come back to this one here, guys. If you can check it out, the development environment, build, testing, QA, and all is under the testing. Again, we are having the environments like SIT, system integration testing, regression testing, smoke testing, load performance, functional testing. Here we have these environments are there. So these are your QA, load balancing. All these are the regular environments which we are having, standard environments. So here we are developing your application. Correct. Yes, we are developing your application, and after testing, everything has been done. Then that means the daily Scrum meeting will be conducting on the next week. That means in the every day before starting our day, we are going to be conducting this daily Scrum meeting. Daily Scrum meeting will be, it's at 20. It's like we can call this one daily Scrum meeting. It is a 15 minutes meeting here, guys. Okay, it's a 15 minutes meeting. So In Agile Scrum, so we are having the work environment, like we are having the separate block will be there, guys, for our Agile Scrum team. So 7 to 9 members we are having. So we are having the separate block there. In that block itself, we are having the dashboard. So dashboard will, that means a whiteboard will be there, and our work environment is also placed in that block itself. And your developers, your designer, your testing team, your database guy, who are all who are all available in that block here, guys. So daily, before we are supposed, now our office is starting at 10 a.m. So everybody is at office at 10 a.m. So someone might be getting late. So we'll be having the buffer time like 15 minutes. So 10:15 to 10:30, we are having the daily scrum meeting. 15 minutes meeting. In this meeting, we are not discussing about the solutions of the problems we faced. We are going to be discussing about these three questions here, guys. Which task you have worked yesterday, which task you are going to be work today, and is there any roadblocks are there in your way? Roadblocks are obstacles, impediments, anything you can call it as. Suppose now a team member, all the team members, they have to be saying that, so which task he was worked yesterday, which task he was is going to be today, it was going to be worked today, and any roadblocks. That means roadblocks in the sense which is blocking his work, which is wasting his time. That means the system is too slow, the network is not working in his laptop, or internet connectivity is too slow, or some RAM issue, or some hardware issue, some kind of an issues which is stopping his work. So those things he need to be explained. Suppose now, if I am a scrum master, I'll be, who are involving in this daily scrum meeting, the scrum team members and the scrum master. Product owner is not involved. So the scrum master is going to be listening. If suppose now one of the team member is facing some issue, he's saying that, so these are the issues I'm facing. So scrum master making a note of it. Once this meeting has been get completed, immediately is rushing towards the troubleshooting team, and he'll make sure that, so he's explaining to the troubleshooting team that one of my scrum team members are facing the issue. So these kind of a problems, I want you to be resolving that issue. So at the earliest, the scrum master, it is his job responsibility that he need to be resolving that issue at the earliest. So these things, they need to be work on this one. Fine. The next one we are having after daily scrum meeting, we are having daily scrum meeting. They will start working on it and designing, developing, and testing. And these are all the things. So the fourth week, the 3 weeks completed, and almost we are ready with the potentially releasable increment. We have completed that. The 5 user stories we have completed, and we are ready to be releasing. We are ready to be released in the fourth week, in the mid of the fourth week, and we are having this sprint review meeting. So we have developed all the 5 user stories, and we test everything has been done. Now we are going to be, the third scrum ceremony is sprint review meeting. What is the sprint review meeting? The sprint review meeting is nothing but after you completion of this user story. That means all the user stories have been get completed. The team is going to be, the scrum team is going to be giving the demo to the client, the product owner, and his management people. So so the scrum team members, they are going to be giving the demo of their work, of their user stories, which they have completed. So in this meeting, if suppose out of 5 user stories, if any of the user story, in any case, if you have not completed that feature, you should not include that one in the presentation. You should be keep it in the knowledge of the product owner, saying that, sir, this 5th user story we couldn't complete it because of so and so issues. So we are going to be working on this one in the next month's sprint. Like this one, we have to be keep it in the knowledge of product owner. If you have completed all the 5 user stories, there is no issue. You can give the demo to the product owner. The product owner, if he likes it, the sprint is completed there itself. If he likes it, the sprint is completed. If he doesn't likes your work, because the product owner is having the right to accept your work or reject your work, but 99.99% is accept your work, because the product owner is always work with your scrum team. So there is no chance that the scrum team members are deviating or they are developing some wrong product, correct? So they are working on the same users. They are working on the same what the product owner is expecting from the product. So most of the cases, the sprint will be success only. The product owner will be accepting your work. Once it get accepted, your sprint is almost done. So next last one is the sprint retrospective meeting will be conducting. The sprint retrospective meeting will be conducting in the sense here, this last meeting after you have finished your work. Review meeting, everything has been completed, you have finished your work, and here this sprint retrospective meeting. That means in this meeting, who are involving in this meeting? Only the scrum master and the scrum team members only. The scrum team members will be explaining the things like what went good, what went wrong. They'll be checking this one. So is any process enhancements need to be improvised? These are all the things they are going to be start working on this one. So process enhancement. Suppose now if any one of the team member is working on the complex task, so how he get the solution of that complex task? What are the steps he took to complete that complex task? He's explaining, he's sharing his knowledge with his team members. Who knows, in the next month sprint, suppose in the July month sprint, they might be getting the other issues. They might be getting the similar kind of an issue from the other team member. So other team member, if he's getting the similar kind of an issue, he will be recollecting the solution given by this guy. So in the last month also, one of my team member is facing the similar kind of an issue, and he has provided me the solution, and within no time he's also, the new team member also is implementing the same solution, so which is saving his time. At the time save avutundi. So this is an advantage for them, guys. And here all the team members will be identify what went good, what went wrong, if anything goes wrong, so how we need to be enhancing that process and all this. So whether it might be a process or a communication among the team members, or environment artifacts or any servers, any issues if they are facing, so those things will be getting enhanced. Every sprint they are going to be enhancing that process here, guys. So the Scrum team participate in this meeting. Stakeholders are optional. That means product owners are optional here. So this, after the completion of this sprint, okay, after the completion of this sprint, okay, the sprint is completed. Again, the next month sprint, they are going to be from the remaining user stories. They need to be start working. Suppose now your May month sprint is completed. Next June month sprint, from the remaining user stories, he is responsible to maintain the product backlog item. So the product owner is maintaining the June month sprint, which user stories need to be get developed. Which user stories need to be get developed. So he will be prioritized that. Again, the same process. The Scrum team members take up some user stories and they'll be start working on it. So like this one, they are going to be start working on this user stories. Okay. In this one, we are having the Scrum roles and responsibilities here, guys. So here, the Scrum process workflow has been done. After that, we are having, see, Scrum has been using by many companies across the world: Microsoft, Nelson Media, and First American Real Estate, BMC Software, IPS Switch, John Deere, Siemens, Twitter, all these kind of companies, MNC companies, they are implementing this Scrum and they're getting the more productivity. And why we are using the Scrum? The flexibility. The client is having the flexibility to give the new requirements here, guys. Even after the development has been started, the Scrum Master, the client will be coming and give the new requirements here, guys. So that is possible. Next one, delivered valuable working software early on. That means the software which the development team people, the Scrum team people have been delivered to the client. The client should use that software to run his business. That is called the value which is added to him. This is another reason. Early visibility to business benefit as well as issues. That means these user stories, the product owner has to be check that one. So which user stories has to be developed first? Suppose now next month sprint, which user stories has to be developed? He has to be looking into those beneficial issues, and based on that one, those user stories have to be getting developed. So he will be prioritize that one. The product owners and the scrum masters, the scrum team members are working together throughout the project. Scrum team members are nothing but your development team, UI designer, testing, and the DBA guy. Inspect and adapt faster feedback loop, I was told you. So with the help of this, with the approach, this inspect and adapt faster feedback, which is helping us to be developing the software faster. Self-organizing, collaborative teams. Self-organizing, that means every team member should be self-organized. There is no one will be coming and assigning the task to you. So self-organized, everyone should be organized, self-determined, self-disciplined. You have to be collaboratively working with the team members. It's a teamwork effort, guys. Simple thing. If suppose now one of your team member is facing some issue, he's struck up in his work. If you know the solution, you just go and sit with him and understand the problem and helping him to be do his job. It's a teamwork, guys. That is the collaborative way, the proper coordination with the proper collaborative way. You people have to be work together as a single team. Reduces the risk, of course. We are designing, we are developing, and we are testing multiple times in a day. So 99.99% bugs will be resolved in the initial phase itself. So when we are deploying this developed application, build application into the production servers, when you're deploying into the production servers here, what happens? It is reduces the risk of deployment failure. So that is an advantage. High level of Scrum, we used to be calling the product requirements document, which is described as a list of features here. Product backlog features, we used to be calling it as user stories, I was told you. And each in the Scrum team, we estimating the work associated with each user story. I was told you 8 hours, 9 hours like this one, we are going to be estimating. Prioritizing in order of importance, which user story has to be developed first, which user story has to be developed later. These are all the things will be prioritized. The ranked and the weighted list of product features is roadmap. That means your product backlog item. This is the roadmap. Product owner owns the product backlog. So this product backlog item is owned by the product owner, and he's the one who's going to be working on it. Right, guys? So I'll be stopping the session here, guys. I'm going to be sharing this PDF document. I want you to be go through this document, understand this process. And if you're facing any difficulty, if you're getting any kind of queries while going through the recording again, make a note of it and you can ask me in the tomorrow session. I'll be coming offline tomorrow, guys. Okay. I'll be coming tomorrow offline session. If you have any queries are there, you can ask me. I'm here to be help you. Now, any queries are there, guys? Let me know. No queries? Okay, we'll be meeting in the tomorrow session, guys. Bye for now. Have a nice day.